Hey, good morning. I know I'm going on early today. I can't even talk. I should have waited. I was supposed to go on at 8. Oh, maybe I scheduled it for 9. Oh my gosh, I just realized I think I scheduled it for 9 and I meant to say 8 o'clock today. It'll probably be a little bit before people pop in. They'll get the notification. Whoops, I hit the wrong time. So on Wednesdays, I switched my live stream to just being like a reseller chat. But since I was kind of like, all right, I'm packing up an order and I figured I would go live, pack it, and then in 10 minutes start my real show, which obviously now I'm an hour and 10 minutes early. Oh my gosh, I'll get it right sooner or later. But hey, welcome to those who are here, which I see one person is here. Welcome. So normally on Wednesdays I used to package orders. So I thought I would sit here and package an order with you guys before talking to you guys about taxes, which isn't that a great topic, huh? So those watching the replay, y'all get to watch this since that one person left my stream. I just sold some wrapping paper. This wrapping paper, 5 Nights at Freddy's, right? Oh my gosh, it's $3, $2. Actually, I'll show you because I need to take the price tag off. Oh, this one doesn't have a price tag. Nope. So it's $2.98 at Walmart. I sold this for geez, I don't even have it in front of me. $60.56 for 3 rolls of it. So it cost me $9, a little less than 9, and selling it for $60. So not bad. But I had a question on one of my videos about how do I package this, and I answered her, and then she actually ended up seeing the video where I do this, because I think almost every video I've been packaging some of these. But I thought I would show you. This is what I use. They are these triangle tubes that you can get from the post office for free. And I put them in here. And as you can see, they're too big. These are too long. I did sell some from TJ Maxx that had gnomes on them, and they fit perfect in these. I didn't have to do any Frankenboxing, as they call it. So this one I do have to do a Frankenbox. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to package this up while we wait for some people to pop in. And if you want, I will try to remember to go back and I'll put the timestamp of when I actually start talking about taxes, since that is my topic. Where's my box? So this is what I do. I'm going to see if I have a spare. No, you don't have a top to you. Okay, so no, I don't have one. So I was thinking that maybe I had a piece of one that I've used before, but it looks like I don't have any. So I'm going to take this box and I'm going to cut it down because I don't need all of it. I just need enough to put a top on this. So I'm going to cut. Come on. Didn't want to cut all the way through. There we go. All right, I'm going to save that one because I can use that one for the next order I get. So I have found that I can't put these all the way together because they don't fit right when they are all the way together. So what I've been doing is actually just taking this and cutting it off, this little flap here, as well as this, and then I just join them together and I tape the heck out of it. That is the only way that I found that it really fits snugly enough for me to feel better. Last year I actually was selling some of these and one of the boxes arrived empty, but she said that my box was still intact. All right, so you know what I did? I like to try and cut it on the same like mark, so it's on the same side, so it would like naturally fit, but I didn't do that. So you can see it's a little bit open right here, but I will pull this together and I'm going to tape it. And in the meantime, let me put the top. Actually, I'll put the top down. No, I'll put the top down now. Hey, good morning, Stitch It. How are you doing? I messed up. I put my start time as 9 a.m. and I meant to say 8 a.m. because normally Mondays is 9. And I forgot. I was like, I don't know. I went live, and as I was hitting live, I saw at the top where it said scheduled for 9 a.m. And I'm like, oh no. I ran down here to make sure I would get that half-hour notification to people that says, hey, you're going live in a half hour. But I neglected to do that correctly. Imagine that. Let's see. Okay, now I'm going to tape this. I'll show you guys when I'm done on this, by the way. This is just my time filler, waiting for some people to get in so we can talk everybody's favorite subject, which is taxes. So I was hoping, yeah, we got 6 more minutes until 8. I was hoping I'd have this all done by 8, so my actual real start time that I had planned in my head, we would be talking taxes today. All right, so I'm just taping this all the way down. I'm going to join that a little tighter. There. And I'm going to tape it. And I got to tape it so where it joins, I'm going to tape around that, all the way around it, and then the top above it and below it. So that's what I'm going to do next. Just so it don't come apart. I wish they would make these boxes just a little bit taller. Now, I mean, I guess they are pretty tall. They come in 2 sizes. And sometimes I'll use 2 of the smaller ones instead of 2 larger ones. But I'm down to 2 of the smaller ones left. So until I order more, I'm really trying hard not to have to order any more of anything because I am overrun with boxes right now. So I'll use these. I'll get it down to only having a couple left, and then I'll order more. I think I definitely have enough for what I have listed. So I got a few other rolls of wrapping paper left. Okay, so now I'm going to tape down this. Well, you guys can't always see what I'm doing. That's why I tell you. So quiet. I messed up my scheduling and people are just not even here. Or maybe it's too early. I mean, we got 2 people in here. One's a lurker and one is Stitch It. Stitch It. That's Pam, right, Pam? I think that's your name. I get you and Karen messed up all the time. Unless you're Karen. I don't know why I can't remember. I don't know why I'm always forgetting. Even now I have it written down, but you know what? I moved the paper where I wrote everything down. I could say your name like 20,000 times and it seems like I still forget. I'm so sorry on that. I know it's nice when I go in and to chats and people remember my name. Even though many pronounce it wrong. It was funny. I was on, where was I? And the person called me Tamara. And whoever, like the co-host of that show, whoever else was on the show was like, it's Tamara. It is Tamara. But you know what? I know what it was. It was at the local auction. And yes, Pam. Okay. Yay, I got it right the first time. But I double guessed myself. It was a local auction. I was bidding on some stuff. I shared with you guys a couple weeks ago the stuff I was looking at bidding on. And the lady who does the online thing like reads the bids versus the person who's running the auction. So he was like, oh, we got a high bidder, Tamara, or whatever he said my name was, is at $20. And she goes, it's Tamara. She like said it different to him. So I thought that was funny. Which would have been funny is if he said Tamara and she says it's Tamara. So Pam does say I have done a lot of Frankenboxing this week. I had run out of 864s and 655s. Amen. The order arrived yesterday. So I've never used a 655. I bet you that would be really good. You know, that used to be my old phone number. When I was growing up, it started with 655 and then 1427. That was my old phone number growing up. That's funny. I said that 655 and it automatically brought me back to my childhood days. Yeah, I ran out. I'm almost out of 864s. I'm probably gonna have to order more. Well, I should, right? Not probably. I should order more today. And then, okay, so I taped down the side. So when you Frankenbox, you use so much tape. And I wish I have to go grab another roll of eBay tape because I would have preferred to use eBay tape. It would have been a lot cheaper than using my clear tape. All right, so I still got to tape the bottom of this because I didn't tape the flaps closed. I want to do that. So see how much tape you use? It is ridiculous. But for $60 order, for something that cost me $9, I'll happily do it. Hey, Diane. Hi, not a lurker. Couldn't find the dang chat button. Diane from Texas, and good morning. Good morning, Diane. Wow, it's early for you, huh? 7 o'clock? So welcome. Okay, I think I might be good with this. I'm just looking at my taping here. Normally I put one, but I guess I did do 2 on the edge. I usually will tape from one bottom all the way to the other bottom just to kind of like secure them together. So, all right, let's see how much this weighs. Where is it going? Hey, it's going to Texas. It's going to Burleson. Did I say that right? All right. 4 pounds, 2 ounces. It's actually 1.5 ounces, but we'll do 4.2. And this is 42 inches. I do know that. $17. Woohoo! That's a lot, huh? Let's see if we can get it any cheaper at Pirate Ship. I don't know. Pirate Ship really hasn't been giving me any great deals unless I go with another carrier. And unfortunately, I've already put it in a post office box. All right, it's going to James. Gotta find him. 4.2. Oh, my watch just buzzed. I shared my eBay or my Etsy store with my daughter yesterday. And she has been in there favoriting so many things. And my watch was buzzing all morning. Every time she favorites, I get an email. Oh, so if I would go UPS, it would be $12. Wow. Excuse me. Ooh. So priority mail is $17.62. UPS would have been $12.89. I don't have another. I do have another option for box. Well, not really. It would make it a lot bigger. I got another box, but it would make it a lot wider. So I bet you the price would go up with UPS. So I'm just going to do the $17.62. You know, sometimes you pay for convenience. Hey, SRG, you're here early today. We missed you the other day on Monday. You walked in as I was saying goodbye to everybody. All right, sorry I'm not even looking at you guys. I'm looking at my other screen so I can print this label. There we go. There we go. You know, it's weird. I was saying earlier, I go, whoever came on first is like, well, Pam said hi first, but anybody else that was lurking or comes back and watches the replay, they're going to be like, Tamara, you've said this 4 times already. So I scheduled this to go live at 7:15. I said, okay, I'm going to go on and schedule it. So at 7:30, I'll get a reminder notification. I'm going live in a half hour. I put down that I was going live at 9 instead of 8. So you didn't even get your reminder. So thank you guys for coming in who got the reminder that I've gone live, not that I'm going live, right? And guess what I'm doing today? I'm drinking coffee. I know. I usually don't drink it because it seems to go right through me, but I only have an hour show today. So I will be off before my bladder says, go visit the other room. Normally when I'm on for 3 hours, yeah, I can't do this stuff because it doesn't work well with me. A little TMI for you this morning. So thanks. Used to sell on eBay. but just do Poshmark now. Less confusing for me. And yes, you pronounced it correctly. So Diane, you just do Poshmark now. Are you doing mainly clothes, or are you doing all the other categories? Because I see they just added electronics, and of course they have a whole pet category now, and they've got toys and home goods and all that. I put a mixture of things on Poshmark. I don't even know. I'm going to look and see what has sold for me on Poshmark lately, because really I've got a mixture of stuff. Let's see. Let me share with you guys. Some of you saw this on Monday, what I was sharing, but let's do it again. Why does that do that? Okay, hold on. I got to remove this and reshare it. I don't know why it blinks like that. There we go. Okay, so let's see what I've sold lately. Is it clothes? Let's see. So I've got a wallet. Starts with a W, right? I see a planner, another planner. This person bought 10 items, which I showed you guys that. Let's see what they bought. They bought 10 items. That was amazing. I loved it. So we've got a blanket with a plush attached. So clothes, a toy, a planner, a planner, a planner, a planner, all under home and office, by the way. Socks, another planner, and then some razors. That's what that one bought. So as you can see, most of my sales are not clothing, but I still have a lot of clothing listed. A blanket, which I had to cancel this because it sold. So I had this listed since last Christmas and it didn't sell. And then it sold on, I think it was Macari and Poshmark overnight the same day. I had to cancel one. I canceled Poshmark. These little Disney pins. Here's a bundle of 4 items. So she bought a notebook, some decals. I say she. I don't even know if it's a she. A board game, and some kitchen towels and pot holders. Right? So not clothes. They don't see clothes here, huh? Bra. This watch, which is coming back to me because the battery died in transit. I got a little bug flying around. Got a little bug, like one of those like fruit flies. I don't know where that came from. Probably this warm weather woke it up. Yeah, so look, I mean, this is not, here's clothes, the Georgia Bulldogs, toys, home decor, there's a clothes. But I mean, hardly any clothing. I don't sell hardly any clothing. But I have a ton of clothes. Like if you look at my closet, I've got 1,111 listings, which means I don't have everything over here from eBay because eBay's got 2,000 listings. But you can see, like if I click on women, which is clothes. Oh, it doesn't tell you, does it, how many are in this category? But there's a lot. Like, look at all this clothes. Nobody wants my clothes. Nobody wants my crap. So, I mean, I got a lot. Like, I just listed this. I put this up yesterday, so hopefully that'll sell soon. That's Nightmare Before Christmas hat. Bought that at TJ Maxx. But I got lots of clothes, right? And then same thing for men's. I got a lot of men's clothes. I only got a few kids' clothes. Hardly any kids' clothes left. So I got lots of stuff, but people don't want the clothes. I sent out a bunch of offers yesterday. Let's see if anybody is countering my offers. See, I sent these offers out. I gave them, I think it was a 25 or 30% discount. Because I'm like, these are high priced. I have room to move them. So I sent out all those offers. Somebody sent me an offer. So look, they want 2 pairs of shorts, brand new with tags. And I have it priced at $47 for the 2 of them. They offered me $25. I'm like, I'll counter you at $40. I almost just declined it and went away because I'm just kind of anal like that. I get tired of some of these offers that are like ridiculously low, but at least it wasn't 50%. It was almost close to it, but not quite. All right, so Diane says closed, but since they opened up, may do other things. Yeah, well, as you can see, most of my stuff is not even closed anymore. You have to share on Poshmark. Yeah, you have to share. I share. So I don't have a program to share. I do know some people do. And I think if I had more sales on Poshmark, I would probably spend the money. But I guess in some ways, if I spent the money, maybe I'd have more sales, right? Just counter never decline. I know that. I know. But sometimes I just get like butt hurt and I'm just like, that's ridiculous, that low ball. And I'm just like, screw you. I don't even want you to buy from me. I kind of feel that way sometimes. But uh so I've been trying to be a little bit better, and sometimes I will most of the time decline if it's 50% or lower, especially lower than 50%, or I should say higher than 50%. So if I'm asking 47 for the bundle and they put an offer in for like $15, right? I'd be like, seriously, you're just going to be somebody who's probably going to complain when you get it to try and get even more money back. That's what I've seen from other people along the way. But, I sent an offer the other day. I think it was something was $18 and I sent an offer for 15 and it auto declined. Like it was immediate. So I was like, okay, that's an auto decline. I'm like, really? You auto declined something that was only $3 less? That surprised me. So I thought, okay, they just have best off. This was on eBay. I'm like, okay, they just have best offer on just so they can get like, because they say you get better placement on eBay. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I will put best offer on my stuff. But yeah, there's sometimes I'm like, I don't really want to take an offer because I feel like I've already dropped my price to the rock bottom price. But if I've dropped it to the rock bottom price, then most likely it's because it's been listed for a while and I've dropped the price and dropped the price and dropped the price. So at that point, honestly, even if I make my money back and don't make any profit, if I can just get out of here, I'm okay with that. Because sales, I think, in my opinion, and I don't know, again, none of us know what really happens in eBay algorithm, and it might be in all platforms, but sales, in my opinion, beget sales. So when you get a sale at eBay, it helps you get more sales. So if I get a sale where I'm not making any money, that's why people put bread and butter items in their eBay store, is because that sale will help other sales. And I actually have noticed that in one of my Etsy stores, I have been so busy, like really good busy. Like I'm happy with it. But I actually took away the free shipping option because I have some customers, I had 3 of them yesterday, that were smart and realized that if most of my items in that store are $28. So if they add one item in addition to the $28 item, so it could be just like a $10 item, right? Brings you up to $38. They get free shipping. So Etsy promotes your store, they say, if you offer free shipping or free shipping guarantee. So if you spend $35, that's the threshold, then you get free shipping. So I had taken that off for a while and I did notice my sales had gone down quite a bit, but it is kind of my store's kind of seasonal. So I ended up adding it back on. And 3 people did that. They added like a $10 item and some of them were going all the way to the West Coast and shipping was costing me, well, one of them cost me $12 in shipping. So I thought, yeah, I don't really think I like this. So I actually took it away. We'll see. But my sales yesterday, even after I took it away, were pretty good. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it and see. So let me say good morning to some people who popped in. Good morning, Linda, my mom. I hope you had a nice night of sleep. I do need to message my brother who called me last night. He gave me some CBD tincture. Am I saying that word right? Such a tough word to kind of say. It's like a tongue twister. Um, I took it a while ago, like maybe let's say like a month. Well, it probably was about a month ago because I've been having such a hard time sleeping at night with my bad shoulder. And you guys, I've been trying not to complain about my shoulder because that's all I do is complain about it. But on Saturday, I carried some very heavy packages down here and they were in like reusable bags, that have handles. And normally I would take them with both hands and kind of carry it down the stairs like this. And instead I was just doing it with my good arm. Well, my good arm has now become my bad arm. So now I got 2 bad arms, but my good arm hurts more than my bad arm. So I've been dealing with both arms. So now at night, I have to sleep on my back with a pillow under my bad arm, my frozen shoulder. Well, now I have a pillow on this side too. So because it hurt, like right here hurts so much, like when it pulls down. So I've been struggling with that. So he called me last night to say, "Hey, how's that stuff going for you? Did it work?" And I said, "I only took it that one night. I didn't notice any difference." My doctor had given me a prescription, which is a controlled substance, which I think I talked to you guys about that. I wasn't sure if I wanted to take it. I ended up taking it, and I didn't want to mix the two because it can become addictive if you mix this medicine with other like narcotic type things. And I'm not sure how CBD falls into that. So I didn't want to mix the two. And I've been taking that now for almost a month because I got like 5 pills left. And it took about 2 weeks for it to finally kick in. So I'm taking Lyrica. It finally kicked in, and it's actually, I don't know, I would say helping me sleep better at night until this shoulder started bothering me. And now I'm not sleeping again at night. I was kind of saying the Lyrica was helping this shoulder and the pain. Sure, it's all messed up, isn't it? But now I'm not so sure. Okay. I'm like reversed on the screen. So when I pull on one side, I mean to pull on the other. All right. So, okay. Good morning, Mom. That was my long story. So I got to text my brother, tell him how I did, because I tried the CBD again last night. Yeah. I was up all night long, every hour. Well, I went to bed at like 9:30. I saw 11, I saw 12, I saw 2, I saw 4, well, 3:37, and then I finally woke up at 6 and said, I'm just getting up. Good morning, Sylvia. I finally sold something on Posh. It's a good additional store to have. Yeah, I agree. I think that I'm so in favor of cross posting and not putting all your eggs in one basket. They have a new share button I like, but you still have to hit each item and hit the parties too. Yeah. So on Poshmark, there is a new way to share, but you still have to sit there and highlight everything. And I feel bad for my husband because he sits next to me on the couch and I share at night while watching TV. And all you hear is click, 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 like 1,111 times. That's how many items I have. Good morning, Laura. Laura's here. And oh, JRKR just popped in. Don't want to miss you. I missed you on Monday and I felt bad. So good morning. Well, I went on and I just got done packaging some more wrapping paper. I sold some more wrapping paper, $60. And they cost $3 a roll. I sell them in sets of 3 because that's what fits in those tubes, those triangle boxes. And I just got those out of the way before we start talking about what our topic today is, which is taxes. I was thinking about holding this topic until January. And then I was reading some Facebook posts. And yesterday I got 3 emails because I have 3 stores on Etsy. And I got 3 emails from Etsy saying you need to provide your tax information, which for some reason I thought I had done that already. So I've never hit $20,000 in sales. So the big announcement that is going around, and it's been going around since the summer, because I think this summer, is that starting in 2022, the IRS is requiring anybody who gives payments, and it used to be, I guess, like credit card payments, but it seems to be really hitting us ecomm sellers. So it used to be if you had sales of $20,000 plus $200 transactions, back when eBay had PayPal as their processor, you would get an 1099 from PayPal when you hit that threshold. So if you were doing $18,000 in sales with 600 transactions, you wouldn't get a 1099. So there's a lot of people who have not filed taxes because they feel like, oh, I didn't get a 1099, I don't have to file taxes, which is incorrect. If you read the tax code, even if you make $1, if you're out to make profit, if you go to a thrift store and you buy this Starbucks mug for 50 cents at a garage sale or at a thrift store, $2.99, and you're flipping it and selling it for $15 on eBay, you are intentionally selling something for a profit. So you need to claim that income on your taxes. So what's going to happen is in 2022, the IRS said, we're going to lower that threshold to $600. That is a huge step and a shock to many what they call hobby sellers that say, geez, I'm just a hobby seller. I only go and buy a few of these. I'm only picking up a few things and selling them. It doesn't matter if you're a hobby seller, call yourself hobby, part-time, full-time. If it doesn't matter what you call yourself, if you are intentionally selling things for a profit, you have to claim that income. But you get to put on expenses to your income. So you do a Schedule C. Now, I am not a CPA, so please consult a CPA. I will put that disclaimer out, but I'll tell you what I do. And I do a Schedule C, and I put in my income. And I don't even really pay attention to my 1099s because I feel like they're not always correct. And my income is always higher than my 1099s. Because I do not get 1099s from Facebook, from Poshmark, from Mercari, from Etsy. I only get them from eBay and Amazon. So my income is always higher than what the 1099s state when you combine them. But then I get to offset it with a bunch of expenses. So I wanted to show you guys. I should have pulled up the link to it, but let me share this with you. Oh, hold on. That didn't work. How do I get out of you? Stop. How do I get out of you? I said, I got a PowerPoint and I said, oh, make it large. Oh, it shared on both screens. What was that about? I just want to share this. All right. So I did a show back at the beginning of 2020. I used to have a show on Mondays called Lunch Break Monday. It was every Monday at noon, and I would have this, right? But then I stopped it and switched to what I'm doing now. So I have this. How do I go forward? All right. So in this video, I talked about the difference of sales tax, federal income tax, state income tax, and then local taxes and fees, which I didn't touch on. But so many people get confused the difference between sales tax and federal income tax and state income tax. I have seen posts in Facebook groups constantly talking about, oh, I'm getting double taxed. I already paid taxes when I purchased it. Why do I have to pay it again? Well, you're not paying it again. You're paying federal income tax and state income tax on your income, not on the purchase of something. So they're two separate things. The sales tax, right, that's a whole separate thing. We're not talking about that today, but check with your state and whether or not you should be filing sales tax, which I do. So this little talks about sales tax. So I'm just actually going to flip through these really fast, but I'm going to tell you guys to go back and find, if you want to watch this whole presentation that I did on this, go back and watch it. But I really wanted to talk about the federal income tax, and because that's really what this new threshold of $600 talks about, is the federal income tax. When do I need to report taxes, right? We talked about that. Pretty much anytime you have a dollar. I think the government does say $600 though, because if let's say you're selling your own stuff on Facebook, or you're selling your own stuff on eBay. So you bought this shirt, you wore it, you don't want it anymore, and you're now going to sell it. You're selling your own personal items, like garage sale type thing. You're garage selling your items online. Then you can write off what you purchased, whatever you purchased the shirt for. Now, I don't know how it works when it comes to having receipts. Do you have to keep receipts for everything? Again, talk to a CPA. I keep receipts for all the stuff I'm buying for reselling. I also, if I decide to sell this, there's a sheet that when I donate to the Goodwill, or I should say when I used to donate to Goodwill, because we don't have Goodwills here, but they would give me this sheet that would give you like the value of like a shirt, what they consider, is it like thrift store value? I can't remember the terminology, but it would pretty much tell you how much you can put on your taxes for each of these items. I don't know if that is online somewhere, but there is somewhere on there that says like thrift store value or something like that. So I would say, okay, this at the thrift store would cost $2.99. So I'd put that down for my cost of goods if I was selling it. That's how I do it. So again, talk to CPA and how you do it. But so you can go to this IRS website and you can download it, and it talks about how you should do it for taxes and stuff. So Jen does say, yeah, you were always supposed to report your income. That is so true. A lot of people don't, and people are freaking out. But imagine if you sold 15,000 on eBay, 10,000 on Poshmark, 10,000 on Facebook, right? And then 5,000 on Mercari. If you always stayed below that 20,000, but combined, you could be at $80,000 combined. You've had this advantage over so many other sellers that you're not paying your taxes, which most people that say fall like within like the 25% tax bracket. You already have a 25% advantage over people who are following the law and not evading taxes. You could be, I just be careful, right? But this starts in January. So if you have been evading taxes, this starts in January. Be prepared. Keep your receipts. That's the big thing. Because if the IRS gets a 1099 that says you sold $10,000 on eBay and you don't put that on your taxes, you could be audited. So just be careful. If it's a slower moving item and I still make money, I'll accept. Yeah, that talking about best offers. I agree. That's exactly what I do. Move it out. So 1099. So PayPal, eBay, Mercari, Etsy, right? I've said not Poshmark because at the time, 2020, Poshmark was not doing a 1099. So if you live in Vermont or Massachusetts, you have been getting a 1099 already at the $600 level. So some people in those states are saying, what are y'all getting all upset about? Because I've been getting a 1099 all along. My sales are only $1,200. I lived in Vermont and I would get a 1099 at the $600 level. So report all your gross income on your tax report for all platforms, even if you don't get a 1099. So a Schedule C is if you're a sole proprietor or an LLC, as long as you're not a partnership LLC or a corporation, then you would do a different tax form. All right. Come on, go. There we go. So what can you write off? Because a lot of people are freaking out. Again, they're saying, oh my gosh, I got to pay taxes on what I've sold. You get to write off expenses. That's the good part. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat here. Also, if you're watching this after the fact, throw your questions down below in the comments and, I could answer any that I know. So I did go to college for accounting, but I'm not a CPA. So again, I'm always going to keep saying, talk to a CPA. But so what can you deduct? Your cost of goods. Now, we'll discuss this further because there are different ways that you can deduct your cost of goods. Your returns. So if you get a return and it's something that you're not going to, especially if you're not going to resell it. If you resell it, that's great. You just keep it in your inventory, it goes back into your inventory. You can deduct your office supplies. So if you buy pens, ink for your printer itself, envelopes, polymailers, boxes, packing tape, printer labels, glue gun, label resizer, razor blades, postal scale, scanning gun, bubble wrap, all this stuff. If you don't know what any of this stuff is, let me know too. But all this type of stuff, anything you buy for your business, you can use. So my husband bought a new scale to weigh deer. It's so he can hang the deer and find out how much it weighs. And he got it in yesterday. And I said, oh, well, look you got a new toy. And he had a friend and his brother were over. And he goes, it's not a toy. I'm like, yes. And he goes, it's a tool. And he goes, well, I can use it to hang your packages on to weigh your packages. And I said, you know what? Actually, if there's a way you could rig it to weigh some of my heavy packages, that would be really good. And then I said, oh, that's a tax deduction then. I don't know. It didn't cost so much for it. But there were times when my scale I have here, this goes to 86 pounds. So if I'm selling something that's 100 pounds, this scale won't work. I have another scale. It's down there. It's for some reason it stopped working. I don't think that one goes a little higher. But when I was selling pools last summer, I literally put the pool on my like human scale, but even some human scales have like weight limits. So I'm thinking, yeah, I could take that and lift it. And if that weight limit is more than my human scale, then I could possibly weigh it with that. And that would become a tax deductible write off. So again, this is 2020. This is when I did this, but your mileage. I use an app called Mile IQ right here, subscriptions, Mile IQ, and it tracks. All right, I'm gonna pause this for a second. I want to show you guys. Remove. Okay. So where's my phone? I use an app called Mile IQ. Not sponsored by them. Don't get anything. Let me find it. I got all my little apps right here. Okay. So Mile IQ. It looks like I got 39 drives I have not calculated yet. So what it does is when I drive, it's got a like a built-in GPS and it tracks where I drive. So if I went this was home to Potsdam. All right, this was actually a personal trip. This is to the physical therapist. So I swipe left and that makes it medical. That makes it personal. But if it was a business, like this was a business trip, I swipe to the right and then it can say, what were you doing? And I can say sourcing. You can set up different things. And this one was sourcing. This one, I'm going to say sourcing, sourcing. So I just keep swiping and it will, it'll track. And at the end, I'm going to go to November so you can see, actually, let's see, August, because August was a big month. Oh, June was even bigger. No, May was even bigger. So it shows on here in May and June, my mileage deduction, see, June is $1,031. May 1,056. You know what that was? Garage sailing. When I go out and I go garage sailing, it is so hard to keep track. So many times I would say, I'm going to look at my odometer, and then when it's done, I'm going to remember to write it down. I would always forget to write down the end number. So this tracks it. So when I get home, it actually sends a little reminder that says, hey, we just caught your drives. So I would get home and I would automatically say, okay, everything dated today. I know every drive that I did so far today was all garage sailing. And I would just swipe everything to business. But what's nice is every time I go to Walmart, I'm always at least scanning something to see if I can sell it on Amazon. So every time I go to Walmart, any certain stores, right? I'm always like Walgreens. I walk into Walgreens. I never walk into Walgreens just to pick up something and walk out for myself. I'm always going to look at the clearance. I'm always going to do something business related. So I have it in here that anytime it picks up that I've driven to Walmart or to Walgreens, to automatically categorize it as business. So I don't have to swipe any of those. It does it on its own. So I love, and that's called Mile IQ. You download it, and I don't know, I think it's like $20 for the year. You can pay per month, but I just do no, maybe I do a month. I think it's $5 a month. It's the other app I pay for that's a year. And that one, I probably should change it over because I've used it now for 3 years. And that is what's the other app I use? En route. And that one I pay for a year. Okay, let's get back to this. So your mileage, you can deduct your mileage. Any of those subscriptions, like paying that $5 a month for that, you can deduct it. If you're using like GoDaddy bookkeeping, you can deduct the cost of that. A lot of people use that for, especially if you're if you're just mostly an eBay seller, that imports into that. I don't use it, so I don't know enough about it. I use Inventory Lab, so that $49 a month, I get to write that off automatically. If you've got like Keepa, Aurora, EnRoute, which I use, if you're doing BrickSeek, if you're paying for YouTube Red, if you're watching me so you can do it ad free, you get to write that off if you're a reseller and you're watching like reselling content. For me, I have a YouTube channel. I get to write off StreamYard and the cost of StreamYard. Okay. Your platform fees. So eBay store subscription, if you have an Amazon account, your final value fees, PayPal fees. If you're still accepting PayPal for Facebook sales, you get to write off those fees. Any of your platform fees, obviously, even Poshmark, Mercari, all those final value fees. eBay shipping, shipping to Amazon, pirate ship, FedEx, UPS, PayPal shipping, all those things are write-offable. Legal and professional fees. So if you're paying your CPA, you get to write that off. Fees paid to groups you belong to. There used to be a group, I think that still might be there, but I just read that Jess Hill has stepped back from her online presence, but she ran ecomm empowerment. But I think Gabrielle, her partner, is still running it. So if you're paying for any Patreon, if you give me a super chat, or if you give me buy me a taco, or buy me, yeah, I think I say buy me a taco, not buy me a coffee. If you do any of that stuff, you can write that off as a business expense, right? Because it's kind of like a professional fee that you're paying that person for the knowledge and information that you're getting. Insurance for your business. So if you get insurance, I highly recommend getting insurance. I have another whole video on that. I do mine through Ashlyn Hayden. I think I pay like $600 a year, but man, it makes me sleep at night knowing if there's a lawsuit against something I sell, right? If I sell this coffee mug, somebody puts hot coffee in it, and let's say they go to take a sip, which I did when I was taking a sip, I was worried it was going to start dribbling because, sometimes the seal just doesn't work right. And I hadn't used this cup for a while. If this dribbled and it burnt them, they could sue me for a defective lid, and I would have to go to court. It could be a frivolous lawsuit, one that's absolutely ridiculous, and you still have to fight it. Even if you know you're going to win, you still have to fight it, and that costs money. So it's really, really good to have insurance. Advertising, so business cards, right? I got these business cards for my business with my mom. I can write those off. Promotion fees, thank you cards as inserts, Facebook ads. I always wrap stuff with tissue paper. All this stuff is all writing offable. Office expenses, so actual costs. So there's two different ways you can write off home office expense. You can actually do your actual costs, and it has to be a percentage of the space that is used only for your business. Like, I'm very fortunate. This space is only for my business. There is not stuff here at all that is for household storage, that's for anything for the home. This is my business work area. It has to be that. So you can't say, oh, my dining room table, but we also eat dinner at it. We have family gatherings at it, but I work at my dining room table. That's not considered write-offable for home office expense. It has to be specifically for your home office. Now, they do have a simplified version, which is $5 per square foot that you can write off up to $1,500 if you don't want to have to take the time to figure out all of your actual expenses. I don't know if that's changed. Again, this was in 2020. So you travel, you meal, so not just your mileage, but like I just did an overnight trip sourcing. I get to write off not only that mileage, but I also get to write off my hotel and my meals for that trip. So if you got airfare, if you're going to conferences, if you're going to trade shows, any of that type of stuff, you get to write off that. So there's two ways of reporting your cost of goods, cash versus accrual. We're only going to talk about accrual, or actual, as I say, my terminology. Expense only the cost of goods when the item sells. This is what I do. There is another way to be able to do your taxes and write them off, and that is by as soon as you spend the money before it sells, you can write that off. So there is another way. I don't do that. That was introduced a few years ago as an option. I do know there's quite a few resellers that do it. Some in my chat that do it that way, or that have been in my chat in the past that have said they do it that way. I track my cost when you purchase your item. So in my custom SKU on eBay, Poshmark, Etsy, and Amazon, I put it in Inventory Lab. I put in what my cost of goods are. So for me, it's pretty simple. And I actually have a video out there showing you how I run my eBay reports and how I'm able to take that custom SKU. I add a column in Excel next to it, and then you have to do it manually, unfortunately. But I sit there and say, okay, the custom SKU said that this was $2.98, so I just put $2.98 in that column, and then I add it up at the end of the month, and it shows me this is my cost of goods sold for eBay that month. And I do it for all the platforms and then put it into Inventory Lab. which I have another video on that too. Track your costs when you purchase your items. So I do that. Some people use Excel spreadsheets, which is what I used to do until I got Inventory Lab and before I moved into Amazon. I also used to do it when I only had like 200 items listed. It was a lot easier. And I also at that time used the Fifo method, the first in, first out. So I would take the average cost. If I went to a garage sale and I bought, because that's pretty much all I was doing was garage sales and some thrift stores. But there was a video I watched and you pretty much use the average cost. So I figured out the average of everything. But as I don't want to really explain all of it, but ended up being as you grew, it really became a system that was unmanageable. It was so unmanageable. So when I came over here, registered as a real business with the state, did all that stuff, I changed how I was doing stuff. So what about garage sale items? Keep a notebook and jot down your purchases. I do that. I have a notebook. I keep them in with my receipts. I have a notebook that shows, before I go out and go garage sailing, a lot of times I'll write down the areas because I go use a newspaper for us because we're ancient over here in Northern New York. People don't do things electronically. So you can't use like garagesale.net or whatever that app was, garage sale app. So I have everything written down and I put it in with my receipts. So if I go to 15 garage sales, which that's a lot for my area, and I buy from 5 of them, right? I'll have still 15 of them are listed that I went to, and then I'll put down that I spent whatever. So the big thing is if you ever get audited, they just need to show you have some type of system. What do I do with my receipts, right? You can scan them, photograph them, file them. I just file mine. I bought a scanner, haven't used it yet. I bought it 2 years ago. But you will notice that receipts tend to like fade. Like if you ever pulled out an old receipt that has that, it'll turn like all black and you can't even read it anymore. So I think it is really important that you find a system to photograph it or scan it. And that, of course, I'm telling you what to do, but I haven't done that yet. I do need to do that because some of my receipts I've noticed have already started to fade. So there's software out there that you can use. Again, I use Inventory Lab. So if you're an Amazon seller, I highly recommend Inventory Lab. I have a video out there. I'm going to try and put that down in the comments. I'll go back and find these videos that I'm talking about and put it in the comments. If you use Inventory Lab, I highly suggest looking at using that to track your other expenses for other platforms. I really like it. But if you're already using like GoDaddy or QuickBooks or any of that stuff, then, continue on with that. But I'm really liking using Inventory Lab. Keep your business and personal expenses separate. Check out multiple times. So that means if you're going to Walmart and you're buying stuff for your personal self and you're buying stuff for your business, I put my personal stuff through first. Then I give them my tax. I have a card so I don't have to pay sales tax. I give them that and then I do the business stuff separate. So I don't throw in, anything that could be personal along with it. Bank accounts, keep them separate, they say. I still don't have mine separate. I opened up one at the beginning of 2020. And unfortunately, I've gotten what they call like dormant fees that has taken all of my money away. Start early, eh? Yeah, I know, Tommy. I messed up and said I was going to start at 9 and I started at 8. Wednesdays are from 8 to 9. 8 to 9 on Wednesdays. But when I set it up wrong and I said 9. I know. I'm bad. Credit cards, get a card with cash back. Right. I took a free cruise. And this was my slideshow from 2020. I think I did this in June or something, maybe March. I don't know. But I had taken my last cruise before I got off the ship and COVID was all over the news. Was in January of 2020. I took a free cruise because I have a Carnival Cruise credit card and I put everything on a credit card that gives me something back. So up until 2020, I was using that one. But then when I realized that I probably wasn't going to be cruising for a while, I switched over to a cashback card, which I have over $2,000 sitting right now on that card for another cruise, which I'm hoping someday we can use it. But now I do a cashback card, which there's always a link down below for referral to the one I use, the Quicksilver. It's actually I think it's 1.8% cashback, but it's on anything. So I've had friends telling me, oh, use this one. But when I looked into that card, whatever this card, I can't remember what it was, you had to select, like you could only get it on restaurants or gas or whatever. Like you had to select a category that you would get the most back on. This one gives me the cash back on all of it. So I really like the card so far. I actually need to cash out how much it is, but I put every single reselling thing on those cards. My hotel, my meals, ask my mother. I'm always telling her, I'll pay, and she pays me for her portion. But I put everything on those cards because I always want the points. I want the cash back. I mean, it's already giving me almost a 2% advantage. It's like a 2% discount on my, my reselling stuff I'm buying. So do your accounting monthly. Don't wait until April 14th of each year, right? Don't do that. Don't wait. Keep your tax return and receipts for 7 years. I think that's what it is. But again, check with the CPA. Right? Please talk to a professional. I'm not a CPA or a tax accountant. Please contact a licensed professional. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anything I just said. Licensed, except for talk to a CPA or tax accountant. Licensed professionals I know about that have experience, not your dad's CPA. So these are ones that I've seen on videos. They do stuff, and I've seen them on other shows. Is not your dad's CPA. And then Jared, this is his email address. He's on the Beard. I know that Scott from the Bearded Picker uses him. Oh, I guess that's it. There you go. That's it. So the big thing is, don't wait until like next year or April of 2023 and say, oh my gosh, I just got this 1099 from eBay. Now my taxes are due and I don't know what to do. Right. Don't wait until then. Know that if you are selling anything on any platform, even if you're a hobby seller, you will get a 1099 if you sell more than $600 on any of those platforms. So if you're on Etsy, you probably got an email yesterday telling you that you have to fill out a form. You have to provide them with your social security number and all that stuff for your taxes, or your EIN if you're an LLC and all that. So go ahead and fill that out. And then people get nervous. And I know they're always like, I don't want to give that information. Well, you're going to be suspended on Etsy if you don't give that information. So I would say if you want to keep reselling, then you got to give that information. And if you're going to be in the reselling business, then be prepared to pay taxes on your profit, right? It's not just your income, it's your income minus expenses. All those expenses I just talked about, those are things you can offset your stuff on. So, know if you sell $10,000 and you got $11,000 in expenses, because that can happen, then especially if it's year one and you're buying all your labels and your boxes and you're buying a printer and you're buying all this stuff to get started, you are going to probably have a loss your first year, especially since you're going to make bad mistakes. You're going to buy something, especially if you're on Amazon, that you thought you could sell for $20. It turns out you keep getting a high price alert and you got to drop it down to $12 and you're breaking even. Well, you're breaking even, but that doesn't count your mileage, your the boxes to send stuff. Like, it doesn't count all that. So in the long run, you could be losing money. But hopefully it's not constant, right? But your first year, there's mistakes that will happen. Well, there's mistakes that will happen when you're in your 6th year, like me. Thanks for the tax refresh, says Linda. I was thinking about it. I was looking at all the scattered receipts. Yeah, I was thinking yesterday. I'm like, I think I caught up until September. So I still need to do October and November. And I thought, you know what, pretty soon, in about a week's time, let's see, what's today, the 8th? Yeah, in a week's time, they say you should have all your Christmas stuff mailed by the 15th. So I'm thinking, yeah, within a week, I'll be sitting down and probably catching up those 2 months. So I only have December left to do. So that's pretty good. Although I have done nothing for Facebook, because There's no reports you can run in Facebook. It's the report that everybody tells you in the Facebook groups to run is for 2020. There's no reporting for 2021 right now. So that's my biggest thing right now is I can't even tell you where I'm at overall with my reselling because I don't have anything for Facebook. I didn't start, like, I don't want to go transaction by transaction by transaction. So I don't know. I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. If anybody is selling on Facebook Marketplace and they're finding a way to gather that information easily without having to go through each transaction, I would love to know that. I would also, well, actually, yesterday I deleted, so I have a Facebook shop and my sales are horrible on it. They finally approved me about a month ago. Sales have been really bad. I can't even put shipping on most things. So yesterday I went and deleted everything, all like 600 something items, deleted them. And I'm debating on deleting everything from my personal account also because my sales have come to like nothing selling. And I've renewed, deleted, and relisted. So I'm thinking now at this point of just deleting and then just relisting, just not maybe relisting like as many items, maybe just targeting just stuff for whatever would sell good rate this minute type of thing. So I'm thinking about doing that, but I don't know. But Facebook is kind of frustrating me. So it was doing good, but it's not doing so good now. And I heard so many people complaining about it, but my sales were still really good. I did want to point out, did anybody get that email from Pirate Ship about shipping rates? So I had gotten an email. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. I just thought of it. Anybody have questions on taxes, by the way? Let me see. I was under the impression, I just got an offer on Poshmark. All right. Maybe I could put in, here it is, Pirate Ship. All right, I'm going to share this message. See if y'all got this email from Pirate Ship. All right, ahoy, Tamara. USPS has announced the new rates that will start on January 9th. So I was under the impression that flat rate was going to go up considerably, up to like $10. So I've reached out to UPS and FedEx. All right, I'm not reading the letter right now. That's not what that says. But I reached out to them to find out about getting some type of flat rate shipping with them and switching because a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now is flat rate. So this says, I'm going to jump over to here so you don't have, so I'm not going to read it all, but here's what's changing. Parcel Select Ground is the biggest news with up to 58% decreases. So if you're okay with a 2 to 8 day delivery speed estimate, then you can save up to 79% compared to Priority Mail. I don't know how many of you have looked, but it used to be that Parcel Select was almost like 10 cents cheaper than Priority Mail. It was very, very small amount. And I used to wonder, why is anybody doing Parcel Select? Unless it's a hazmat where it has to go ground, why would anybody select ground and pay like a few pennies less? It really was not that much difference. But 79% now, that's a big difference. Dimension-based Priority Mail Cubic was made even more competitive for your smallest packages, where it's even cheaper than Parcel Select Ground. So you can still go the cubic priority if it's a small item, although there's a significant increases for most tiers in zones 5 to 8. So did you see that? Although there's a significant increase for most tiers in zones 5 to 8. So there's where there is going to be an impact. Weighted national average is actually hardly changing from the holiday rates. So we know every year when they have their holiday rates, they always say they're going to change, right? So we'll get this nice discount for 8 days, January 1st, probably to 8th. I don't remember when the holiday rates stop, but we'll get a very small time when the rates will drop back down and then they're just going to go right back up. Weight-based Priority Mail is getting 31% cheaper than the holiday rates too. So getting quicker service for larger packages just got up to $16.95 cheaper. Hey, David. First class packages is staying the same as the holidays, except for the 1 to 4 ounce, which is going to go up 6 to 7 cents. So what we're paying right now is pretty much what we're going to continue to see, which stinks because it's like $6.28 to send a 15-ounce package to California right now from New York. Priority mail flat rate is getting 25 to 80 cents cheaper compared to the holiday rates. Now that's not what I've heard, because right now I'm paying what, $8.15, and I had read something that was going to go up to like $9, almost $10. That's why I'm like, you know what I got? You probably can't see it, but look, FedEx flat rate envelopes. I just ordered some. I ordered from UPS too, because I'm like, I'm gonna look at changing it up. If the USPS wants to raise their rates where they're not going to become as competitive as going with FedEx or UPS, then I'm gonna switch over to FedEx or UPS. Hey, good morning, Holly. So international is going up in general, with priority mail international to Canada being the only exception, with rates 18% cheaper. So that's not so bad. Simple export rate will continue to be the cheapest international. Yeah, so it is kind of stinky that international is going up, because international can already somewhat be expensive. But I use that simple export rate right here, simple export rate, through pirate ship, and it's always cheaper than eBay's international, direct international, cheaper than GSP for the customer. So GSP is going to give you, if you ship with eBay GSP, you're shipping it to Kentucky, home of the great bluegrass thrift. So it's going to go to Kentucky, and then it's going to go on international, but it costs more money for your buyer. So I do direct shipping, but I use the simple export rate. If you don't have it, it's free. Just set up a pirate ship account, ask them do they have a little chat box, R or Matey, say, can I please get the simple export rate on my account? They say, sure, they add it, and you get that cheaper rate. So what they changed, how they did it in 2021, is you send your stuff to, I'm going to stop sharing this because that's it. You send your stuff to New Jersey, New York, somewhere like that, and then it goes on. So it's almost kind of like GSP in some ways, or eBay International Standard, where it's going to a hub, and then the hub is mailing it out. So Pirate Ship uses USPS to get it to the hub, but then from the hub to your customer, it goes through Ascendia. So it's not USPS, it's called Ascendia. But they get discounted rates because instead of sending one package, like if you went to the post office and you said, hey, can I send this mug to my sister in Germany? They'll say, yep, sure. So that you send this, and it goes through the USPS all the way, that one package, all the way to your sister in Germany. But if you said, I'm going to send this through either GSP, through the eBay International Standard, or the simple export rate and pirate ship, it'll go to a location, and then it'll be a big, huge, I don't even know, right? Like they just bulk mail stuff. So it's one big container of stuff that will go to Germany. So that's where they get the discounted. It's not just this one box floating to Germany. Hey, good morning, Yvette. How are you doing today? How is work going? She works in the nursing field. I was at the PT yesterday, and they were telling me, I was telling them how my husband goes to rehab for his heart attack and cardiac rehab, and they're closing it. And he was also supposed to get surgery this week on his hand. So the orthopedics, he went to his pre-op last week, and they canceled his surgery. So I had mentioned that in my physical therapist says her boyfriend works at the hospital, and he's a nurse up there, and that they're canceling all elective surgeries and anything that pretty much is elective because of COVID. Our COVID numbers here are crazy high right now. Huge infection rate, and we've had quite a few hospitalizations, including deaths, unfortunately. But so I was like, yeah, they canceled my husband's surgery. And when I got home, I was talking to him about it. Well, I guess they got the nursing shortage. She was saying that her boyfriend stayed the other night. He was on his way out and he realized it was only one nurse that was on for 27 patients. And she was there. I guess he said, this isn't right. Like, how come there's only one person on for 27? And I don't know if somebody had called out or I don't know what was going on, but he ended up working a double shift because he says, there's no way I was going to leave that person with all those, which is just crazy. So if that has been listening while grading papers before class, man, bravo to you for being a teacher, though. I mean, that is just insane. But thank you for getting these nurses up so they can get into the work field, because it seems like definitely around here it's a huge need right now. So I got home and I said to my husband, I said, yeah, did you know they actually canceled your rehab because of COVID? And I had mentioned to her how your surgery had gotten canceled. And he goes, well, my surgery got canceled because I had a heart attack. They won't do surgery on anybody that had a heart attack in the last year. So he can't get his hand operated on until at least next summer. And then he goes, and the cardiac rehab is actually moving from Potsdam to Messina. That's why it's closing. So I'm like, oh, okay. So here everything was blamed on COVID, but it turns out that his surgery was not because of COVID, and the rehab was not. Hey, David, any luck on that jacket? Any luck? I don't know what he's talking about, but any luck? Well, we're going to wrap up. I know some of you popped in late, so this is what happened. This morning, I ran down here, and I said, okay, I go live at 8 o'clock on Wednesdays, 8 to 9 now. For the last few weeks, last week I didn't do it because I was traveling, but 8 to 9, it's just my reseller talk. I'm not going to be packaging orders because I'll start packaging at 9 when I jump on and listen to I like listening to the Bearded Picker at 9. So I came down here so I could give you guys that whole half-hour warning, and I set up my oh my gosh, my live stream on StreamYard, and somehow I did it for 9 o'clock instead of 8. So when I went live, I was like, hey, how come it says 9? I hit live before it dawned on me that it had said 9 o'clock, not 8. So yeah, so I'm early. I'm way early. But I talk taxes. So if you're popping in here late, you might want to go back and watch it if you want to hear anything about taxes. But don't listen to me because I'm not a CPA. I used to be an accountant. But don't listen to what I have to say anyhow. Anybody watch I gotta go because he's gonna be on. But what's the name of that? Hold on, what's that podcast? Handle on the Law. Anybody listen to that? Handle on the Law. Oh my gosh, he's so funny. So every time I say I'm not a CPA and don't listen to anything I say, he is a lawyer and he has this radio station. He's out of California and he's on my local station at 9 on Saturdays, but I have him on podcast because I'm hardly ever listening to him on the radio. And he's always telling you, he gives marginal advice, and don't ever listen to whatever he says because he's been sued before. He gave somebody advice and it didn't work out in their favor and he ended up suing them. So, or they ended up suing Handle here. So he now just says, yeah, listen, I'm giving me marginal advice. Don't listen to me. Let's see. David says, ended up being a fake Tommy, though I can afford to donate it as I paid $10.08 each for them. The cost goes up to $10.41. We're talking about pounds right now. So David, I didn't realize you were in another country. The shortage is real. I'm trying to get more CNAs and nurses out there, but classes are limited because of number of instructors are limited. Oh my gosh, I can imagine. Well, bravo for doing what you do. Yeah, there's a huge shortage. There's a girl who used to be in my chat here. She was a nurse, and she's called me a few times. We've had some conversations, very lengthy ones. But she was a nurse. She was in charge of a COVID unit, and she took some time off. And I don't want to share too much about her, but ended up being that for her, best thing for her and her family and definitely her mental health. She didn't go back into the nursing field, and instead she's doing reselling. So I know burnout is crazy, right? I mean, gosh, some areas, like I think of New York City, right? Because I live in New York, and it was just on the news all the time at the beginning of this in 2020, early 2020, how busy those hospitals were, and those nurses just straight out working and losing to COVID death some of their coworkers. So just the mental anguish that they've gone through is just crazy. So, yeah, I can see where there's a shortage where some of them are saying, I'm out of here. You got 60 of those fake jackets. Wow. So now I have 58 after the 2 bad ones. So that stinks. That stinks that they ended up not being. Also, only 2 of them are fake, it sounds like. All right. I would be in contact with them for a credit, yes. So, oh, you're in Northern Ireland. Okay. All right. We have someone from Norway that's in here all the time. I didn't know. I think, did you tell me Northern Ireland? And I said I never knew there was a Northern and a Southern. I think that we had this whole conversation, didn't we? Of course we did. See what I remember? Nothing. I sold something to Victor, New York, near you. I have no idea where that is. No idea. I just got one that was fake, Tamara, and one was bad. Oh, okay. I'm going to look. Let's see where Victor, New York is. Victor, New York. It's in Ontario County, so it must be somewhat close. Because Ontario's right above me. I guess I got to put in maps, right? Maps.google.com. And then tell me where Victor, New York. Tell me where you are. Want to see where Victor, New York is? Don't you hate when people are doing, oh my gosh, stop. Why do you do that? Don't you hate when you're on and somebody's doing something on oh my gosh. Maybe I'm not going to show you guys. Because, not that you probably even really care where Victor, New York is, but it might give you a glimpse into where I'm at for those who still wonder where I live. So Victor is this. Okay, yeah, hey, I was over near Victor. I just did. Let me show you where I was sourcing. I'll show you where I live. All right, see, there's Victor. I'm going to try and keep it on the screen. Let's see, I got to make it. Okay, see Potsdam? I live like right here. I live right here. Actually, like right here. Right in that little dot right here. This is where I live. So I went sourcing. See this area I live? There ain't crap around here. So when I source, I come down here to Watertown. But there's very little even here, even though it's got Fort Drum, which is a major military installation. There's not a huge amount. So I come down here to Syracuse. But last week, I went down to Syracuse, and then I came all the way over to, I went through this town, and then I think I cut up through and then came back this way. I never made it to Rochester because my car got full, so I had to stop. All right, so while I'm doing this, let me see. Oh, no, it's not going to be on this one because that's different. I hate that I have more than one Google Chrome login. So right now I'm in, see, it's got this one right here. This is like a different account than what I log in most of the time. I was just going to check and see if Scott's on, but I don't think so. Because if he's not on, I can keep chatting with you guys. Because he wasn't on. Let me see. Because one time I hung up with you guys and he wasn't on. And I was like, well, that was stupid. I hung up with y'all and I could have stayed talking. Bearded. Let me see. Videos. Oh, he's not even on. Probably not going to go live today. Tamara, have to run, everyone. Have a terrific and blessed day. See you later, Diane. Thanks for stopping in. Hey, good morning, Greg. Yeah, my part is part of the UK, and the Southern is a different country. See, I had no idea. So I had a spammer one time that came into my chat who was from somewhere in Ireland, and all he kept talking about was like political stuff about Ireland. And we kept blocking him. Anybody remember? Was anybody around then? I know Holly, you were here. I'm not sure who else was here, but he kept, oh my gosh, he kept, like, I would block him and then he would come in with another name, and he kept doing it over and over and over again. He probably took about 15 to 20 minutes of our time with me just spending time blocking him. And I'm like, why are you coming and telling me? I live in New York, USA. I do not care. Well, I shouldn't say I don't care, but I don't really have much control over what happens there. Oh, yeah. Oh, Greg, you were here that day. Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, I haven't had anybody since, but yeah. I should knock on some wood because they're probably going to be popping somebody in right now. So I'm going to take a sip. So what's on everybody's agenda today? What y'all doing? I have packaged all my orders for today. Oh, no, I don't. I still have Amazon orders to package. So I'm going to do that. Let me see what I got. What do I got for Amazon? Oh, I only have 3 orders. Simple. I've got one that's been pending since this weekend. Since the 5th. When was the 5th? Yeah, Sunday. Come on, process, will you, so I can get those out the door? Because it's the last of my Pop Rocks. I have sold like 700 packages of Pop Rocks. I was thinking about going on a sourcing trip next week. And then I thought yesterday, I said, you know what? I think I'm done. I feel like I've done pretty good and I'm happy with where I'm at right now with my sales. And if I go next week, it'll be pushing it on even getting there in time for Christmas. So why even open up the door for having people buy Christmas things and then complain it didn't get there in time? So I am now going to stop sourcing stuff that's specifically going to be used for Christmas. So I've decided that's it because I'm all out. I sold all of my Pop Rocks except for that one order that's pending. So if that disappears, I can list one more order. But other than that, I am done. How did everyone deal with Amazon shutting down yesterday? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Amazon. Is it back up today? So I could still get into the back channels of Amazon. But what was I trying to do? I was trying to look at in my personal Amazon, my orders, and I couldn't get in. I'm trying to think of what else. Hey, Claudia. Claudia's here. Were you here earlier, Claudia? Did I miss you saying hi? I'm sorry if I did, but I feel like it's the first time I've seen you say something. So, hey, good afternoon, good evening, good, I guess it's still afternoon there because it's 9 o'clock here. So, what is it, like 4 or 5 there? Something like that. Okay, so that's good. 3 orders. All right, I'm good with that. I'm okay that my sales are starting to slow down. I feel like my sales are down from last year overall on Amazon. I did not do, oh my gosh, I went into the back office and I was playing yesterday because I was kind of bored. And so I'm going to just show you guys my sales. Look at this. So I've only done $3,200 this month so far, but my sales are up 700% from last month, but they are down 55% from last year. I didn't do nearly as much as I was doing last year. Last year, I was chasing items. I was doing so many toys. But yesterday, I said, oh, I'm going to go into my Amazon FBA. I got rid of my repricer this summer. So I said, I'm going to go in and check my prices and do some repricing. You guys, I have, let me see how many I still have. Because I did a pullback of 2 items yesterday. Oh, see, an error occurred when we processed your request. What? All right. I only have 9 products in Amazon FBA right now. 9 products. And none of them are good. I literally feel like pulling every single one back. Hold on. I'll show you. You want to see? I know you're all like, what do you got? What do you got in there? I don't care. I'm an open book. Why does it keep doing that? Okay, this is what I have. I've got some Leather Studio leather paint. My price is $9, right? So I'm the lowest. I got my little green check mark. See, 9 products. That's all I've got. That's FBA. These fishing lures, which I sent in quite a few of these. These were at Ollie's, and they all sold really fast, except for these 2. I am matching the buy box, which I probably have the buy box. Let's see if I have the buy box. Yeah, so that's my store, Yellow Fox. I'm pretty open with what my store name is. So I have the buy box. Watermelon Candy is the name of that fishing lure. And then I got this jacket, which I can't go down anymore. I paid $10 for it at TJ Maxx, $10.80. Fees are $9, so we're already at $19-20, and I'm asking $29. But I am the lowest. I probably have the buy box on that one too. These food saver things, which I'm thinking about pulling them back because I'll use them. I might have the buy box on this one. Let's see if I got the buy box. No, all products for you has the buy box. But let's see what the rank is on these, because I thought these would be selling quicker. Oh, but look at this. Looks like Amazon is on this listing all over the place, huh? Amazon's pricing. But look how high Amazon had the price. They're way up here. Amazon's at $10.45. That's why they don't have the buy box. So Amazon went up with their price while other people pretty much went down, except this FBA. And if you look at the data in the buy box stats, this is pretty much what I was doing yesterday to a lot of these. I feel like I pulled these back, but I kept getting an error. And I think that was part of the issue that they were having yesterday, is that section must not have been working. So you can see here the buy box in the last 30 days, Amazon's never had the buy box, but it's been at $9.40. This person, extra stuff, they get it 88% of the time. $9.40 and $8.82. So when you look at my price over here of $9.49, it's high. Let's pull that back. Oh, I know what I pulled back. This right here, which is search suppressed. This Wilson soccer ball. I'm the lowest price. I tried to pull that back. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to pull back these stickers because I sell these more on eBay. Same with this. I said, I'm going to pull those back. And then this right here was search suppressed. So I don't know why these became search suppressed, because when I bought them, they were not. They were actually good buys at the time. Oh, look, it says 0. I don't need to pull that back. Does the other one say 0? No, it still says 1. All right. I don't want to delete. I want to pull you. Create removal order. Yes. Oh, there's my address. Oops. All right. Yeah, let's take them all back. Let's pull these back. They're not selling, and you know what? I'd rather list them on Facebook and get them back. Okay, there we go. I removed them. So that's what I was doing yesterday. I kept getting errors though, trying to remove them. So at this point, I'll pull those back, and I have like nothing left on Amazon. My FBA is pathetic right now. There's just been so many issues, and you know, it's been tough to deal with Amazon. Hey, Anissa, I just saw you pop in up there 6 minutes ago. My issue has been the way I source has been harder and harder to do because manufacturers aren't like flipping stuff. They're not changing their packaging. They're not changing out and adding other flavors or whatever. You know, I used to buy a lot of clearance, and it's been harder and harder to do that. And I was listening to, I talk about Scott a lot in here, the bearded picker. So he was talking last week. I got to go back because I didn't watch his full thing because I was traveling with my mom. So I never really ended up listening to his whole show. But the part I was listening to is he switched a lot from doing RA because he did a lot of what I do. And it's had its huge challenges since COVID, and he switched to doing a lot of wholesale. But he said wholesale has opened up a huge can of worms for him because he has issues with Amazon when it comes to wholesale, because they only let you send in a certain amount. And that has become a challenge for him. So I think that, sometimes you think, oh, the grass is greener, I'm going to do private label, right? I'm going to stop doing RA, I'm going to do private label. Well, that opens up a whole nother can of worms. Or then I'm going to do wholesale, that opens up another whole can. Like, there's all these issues. And even when it comes to, let's say you're not even an Amazon seller, but you're saying, all right, I'm going to start cross posting, right? That opens up another whole can of worms, because now you got to focus on making sure you take your stuff down so you don't sell it on two platforms. Anything you do in your business could always have a negative repercussion, but you got to sit there and look at it and figure out, what can I do? Hey, speaking of that, I don't have it right here. Let me grab this book. I want to show you this book that I bought. I got to figure out what I did with it. I think it's right here. I was talking to my daughter. Actually, before I show you guys this, let me just catch up on these comments, because I see I'm getting way behind. I have to get ready to go on vacation to Florida next week. Laura, I'm jealous. Warm weather. Guess what it's doing right now? Hold on. Which window should I show you? I will show you this window. All right. For those that live in the southern areas, there you go. That's what we got today. That's just started this morning. You probably can't see, but you can kind of see where it's snowing. You can't really see the snow coming down, but yeah, that's what I get to deal with. Snow. I want to go to Florida. My husband actually was saying, hey, we should go on a cruise. They're like $100 right now for a week. I'm not really ready to go into, I call it a petri dish. Oh, did you see there was somebody that was a crew member? I didn't hear the whole story. A crew member from South Africa that was on a cruise ship, and ended up being, he had the new variant. He was sick. Let's say, no, you just got here. You were talking about Ireland. Let's see, grading papers and figuring out classroom grade before finals next week, then teach 10 to 3, fly to pick up grandkids from school, watch them till 10 p.m., then start listing on eBay from 12 to 1. Oh my gosh. Well, that's why you are in Tommy's chat, because you're up late. That's crazy. Which I saw you had a show yesterday, Tommy. I gotta go back and watch it. I think it was showed yesterday. It showed up when I clicked on videos to watch this morning. Let's see. Good morning, all. Let's make it a great day. Let's do it. Midlife picker, Karen. So Karen, Stitch It was in earlier, and I'm like, or she's probably still here, but I'm like, all right, you're Pam or Karen? For some reason, I get you two mixed up all the time, but she confirmed she was Pam. Good morning, Sherry. I only sent in Christmas candy this year to FBA. Oh my gosh, Laura. So I am selling, those Pop Rocks. Okay, well, I think she might be gone, but I want to show you guys something. This is why I don't do FBA for a lot of my Christmas items. Which, by the way, can I tell you guys, I sold a 2021 calendar yesterday. Do you think that they realize it's 2021? It was on Amazon. Okay, I want to show you guys something. All right, let's share again. Let's share again. Okay, so this is what I was selling, these Pop Rocks. Let's go over here and look at these. Let's make pretend that we shipped ours to Amazon. I just want you to focus on the delivery dates. So right now, whoever's got the buy box is the delivery date of December 17th to the 20th. All right, so when you're looking at this, for those who are new to Amazon, let me just show you. So a lot of times, this is what they call the buy box. Whoever's got this amount right here, and this says ships from and sold by K Ventures, they got the buy box. But if you are a smart shopper on Amazon, you will come down here and you will see that there are 55 other sellers selling this item. And if you click on this, you'll get to see who those other 55 sellers are. A lot of times you might find that you can buy the item for the same price or less and get the item quicker. So in this case, December 17th, right? So for 20 cents more, you could get it earlier. You can get it on December 13th to the 16th. Now, it could also be based upon Molly Mercantile might live closer to me, but she also might have a quicker handling time. So this says ships from Molly, sold by Molly, which means it is not FBA. It is considered FBM. So Molly is shipping all of these items. Express Handling is shipping it. So I'm going to go down until we see where Amazon is shipping the item. You know what's funny? I know some of these sellers. I know some of these sellers. I know who they are. And they are people that I reach out to and say, oh no, I sold something and I know you're selling the same thing. Do you have any more that you could cover for me? Sorry, I feel a tickle coming. All right, here we go. Ships from Amazon, sold by this person. So if you are buying from Amazon, you're not going to get it until December 21st to the 22nd. That's cutting it pretty close. Let's keep going. Here's another one, 22nd to 23rd by Amazon. 23rd to 24th by Amazon. 22, 23, Amazon 29, 30. So you're getting these after Christmas. So how do you think this Perfect Curiosities feels knowing they ship these in so somebody could have them to put in Christmas stockings, and they're not even going to get it until after Christmas? Let's keep going. 22, 23, that's not too bad. January 1st to the 4th, right? Their pricing is actually cheaper than the current buy box. The buy box is up here at $12.49. They're at $12.47. But Amazon, I see this person a lot. I don't know who this is, but they're always on a lot of my listings. January 1st to the 4th. I would be so ticked off. So this happened to me 2 years ago. Here's another one. Well, 21st. At least it's before Christmas. Before Christmas. But do you notice how these, when you sort by seller, these Amazon fulfilled ones are pushed way down below. These are all down below everyone else. Same price, but they were underneath the FBM sellers. January 5th to the 7th. 26th, 27th. So, Uncle Ben, you're on everything that I'm selling. January 12th. I mean, I see this and I think I would be so ticked off if I sent something in FBA and it isn't even going to get to the customers. So that happened to me. That happened to me 2 years ago. I bought at Big Lots. They had gingerbread houses. They had Disney ones and like a whole bunch of fun ones. And they had a great resale value, great resale, great rank, everything. So I bought, well, I mean, for me, going deep is buying like more than 10. And I think I probably bought like 10 of them, but 10 of the Disney, 10 of the whatever the different ones were, and sent them in. They got into FC transfer. They didn't even hit the other warehouses. I sent them in like October. They didn't get to the other FC transfer and everything was until after Christmas. And they still were kind of pending out there. Didn't even go live until like March. It's way after that season. And I remember looking and saying, I couldn't remember what the expiration dates were. And I ended up pulling them all back. I was so ticked. So yeah, I don't send FBA anymore. Right, now I'm behind again. No bearded show this morning. Yeah, I noticed that. I looked and it didn't look like he's on. I love snow. I'm in Georgia and all we get was rain. Ugh. My in-laws are driving back to Vermont today for some doctor's appointments, and they got to drive in this snow. Thankfully, it just started, so hopefully the roads, it was warm. The last couple of days, it's been warm, so hopefully the snow is melting on contact and it's not getting icy at all. Your view from the window is just like mine. Yes. Is it nice? Are you getting snow there? Check the news later. The post office committee has a shakeup. Oh, really? Well, the post service committee. Except that we have more snow here. Oh, yeah. Well, we had more snow. We had probably about 4 inches, but we had 50 degrees a couple days ago and it melted everything. So that's, yeah, you're up late because you have to photograph and list things up late. Yeah, that's crazy. When will your in-laws move in? That is the day that I cannot wait. We will celebrate. No, I mean, I love my in-laws, obviously, and very, very thankful for what they have done for my husband and I in the past. We've been able to live with them when we were building a house. Um, they took my son in when he left here. When we moved to New York, he moved here, but he couldn't find a job, and times were different. So somebody with a biochemistry degree couldn't even get a grocery job, and he ended up going back to Vermont and got a job there at Global Foundries, and they took him in so he could live with them. So he lived with them for, I don't know, it must have been about 2 years maybe. And so I'm so thankful for what they've done for our family. But it is difficult when you are empty nesters and then you have two people living with you again. It is challenging, and they do things differently than I do. I'm a somewhat, not really OCD, I wouldn't say, but like my spices are all organized alphabetically. So when I want curry, I know to look in my A through L column and I can find my curry alphabetically. They don't put stuff back alphabetically. I was searching for the strainer to strain my potatoes and they put it in a different area. So I'm just like, it just takes me longer time to find things. But I keep saying, hey, listen, at least they were putting the clean dishes away. My father in law loves doing dishes. He must, because he does dishes all day long. Um, my mother in law loves doing laundry because she does laundry every day, like constantly doing laundry. I'm not sure what she's washing so much of, but she's always doing laundry. And it's just been challenging. So Saturday I did have kind of a little tiff because I had the house to myself, which, oh my gosh, was amazing because they went over to their house. And so they're able to store their stuff in the house that they're buying. And I was catching up on a month's worth of recordings that I have for TV. I was doing some listing and doing some sharing on Poshmark, and just kind of chilling out on the couch, but with my computer on my lap, and just doing some of that while watching some shows. And they came in, and she sat down on the love seat. We have them; they're kind of like L-shaped. Our couch is here, and the love seat's here. And she sat on the love seat, and she got on FaceTime with my niece and was talking loud. And I'm like, I can't even hear my show anymore. Like, literally, you walk in, and that's the first thing you do. And so I turned off the TV and I got up and went into my bedroom. And I figured I got laundry to fold and I got Christmas presents to wrap. So I'll just go do it in there and watch TV where it's quiet. But they could tell I was pretty angry. Probably the slamming bedroom door gave them a hint, right? I'm like, come on. I don't mind you living here, but just be aware of your surroundings and don't be so disrespectful when you could tell what I was doing. That just really annoyed me. So when will they move in? We don't know. So the house was on like 100 acres, and the family, when the lady died that owned the house, her family wanted to subdivide the land and not sell all of it with the house. So in this town where I live in West Stockholm, you have to have at least 2 acres with your house. So they took 2 acres in the house, subdivided that, and then somebody else got like the 98 acres. Um, the guy who lives across the street, which is the son. But the house is owned by the son who lives in Arizona. So we're dealing with somebody in another state. And they did an abstract that shows the separation. That's what took so long. Finally got that in. The lawyer looked at it and said they forgot about the acre or what, I don't even know how much it is, but across the road, I guess there was some land that that house owned also. Um, that lady owned. So she owned that 100 acres on one side, and then across the road owned a little tiny piece right next to the son who bought the other 98 acres. And so they're like, oh no, that belongs to this house over here, but it was never in the abstract. So now they got to redo the abstract, I think. I don't know. So that's what we're waiting on. But they've asked the owner. My husband talked to the owner and said, can you write a letter that says that we can do, because they gutted the whole kitchen. That's what I tell you guys, I was telling them, don't do it. This is my father-in-law and my husband gutted the kitchen of this house that they haven't even bought yet. And I kept saying, don't do anything until you own it. Even though the guy verbally gave you permission to go ahead and start doing repairs, I wouldn't do it until you own it. So they ended up gutting it and painting the kitchen and dining room. And so my husband said to them, can you give me a letter stating that we can start doing repairs? And because we thought they were going to close like within a week to 2 weeks, right? I thought maybe the week before Thanksgiving. And then he said, oh yeah, I'll definitely, and in the letter state that if the seller backed out, they would reimburse them for the work that they've done. Because my fear is if the seller backs out, then my in-laws are on the hook for putting a new kitchen in this house. If for some reason the seller says, I decided not to sell now, and he backs out, like they would have to go to court, because the seller would say, hey, where's my kitchen? You took out the kitchen. There's no kitchen right now. It's empty. And he would say, put a kitchen back in. So they would end up in court battling that. So the seller said, absolutely, he has no problem putting that in writing, saying that, go ahead and do what you need to do, make changes to the house, and if I back out, I will reimburse you for whatever, So the seller verbally has been on board with everything. My concern is that his lawyer is going to say, absolutely not. Should you do that? Should you approve that? So that's kind of, we're in limbo. But I said, why don't you, if you get that approval, why don't you go ahead and do your kitchen, and then see if you can rent the house from them until the paperwork is in order, so they can get out of here and get there quicker. Because I know they want to go too, right? They're in their 80s. They're set in their ways. I can tell they're set in their ways because they don't do things the way I do things. And I just keep saying, that's just the way they do things. My biggest challenge, I will say my biggest challenge with them living here is I'm trying to not eat as many carbs and sugar and stuff, and they are bringing in junk all the time. So that has been really tough because I am a sugar junk food addict. I know that if it's in the area for me, I will eat it. If you've got peanut M&Ms, I will put my hand in the bag and eat some. If you've got cookies on the counter, I will grab a cookie and eat it. I don't have that stuff in my house on a regular basis because I know that it's a weakness for me. I mean, I'm not the size I am because I just walk by food and don't touch it. And I'm a diabetic, and I'm trying so hard. Okay, I'm going to get emotional, so I'm going to stop talking about it. All right, I'm going to read comments here. I'm probably not even going to read it. I'm going to let you read it. Okay, well, that's good, Greg. So my shipping is, like, I got Prime, and I never get stuff in 2 days, ever. Even being here in New York, even though, like, Syracuse, which is 3 hours from me, they have a distribution center. I was hoping that once that opened, I would start to get packages quicker. But man, I've got calendars that I'm trying to sell on Amazon. I've got a lot of them. And in Amazon, when you get something, you've got to get it out fast, because unfortunately, people come on your listing, and sometimes it's Amazon, and your listing goes down. Like the price is selling, at $20 right now, but tomorrow it could be selling at $12.99. And at that point, it's not really a profit for me. So it is very difficult. Wait a minute. I just saw a comment and it kind of made me, it got me back into that train of thought there. So I made the mistake and I put it in my, at the end of my travel time chit chat that I did the other day. I was buying all these and my mother said to me, because I made a comment to her last Wednesday and I'm like, I don't know if I have enough envelopes for all of this. And she's like, well, you better order them. Tonight when you get to the hotel room, you're going to order them. And I did. But so I ordered them last Wednesday. No, so it's December 1st. Okay. Let's see when they're expected. And this is an Amazon Prime order. But this is what things are like all the time with me with my Amazon. It is so frustrating. I cannot get anything fast. So I ended up going to eBay. Arriving today. Oh my gosh, they're arriving today. Oh, I'm happy. I'm happy because I'm going to up my, well, I'm going to wait till I get them. So tonight I can change my listing because I think right now I'm showing them out of stock. So I can up them. Oh, that's good. I've got hundreds of these. I want to get them out of here. But so I went on eBay and I said, I'm going to find somebody who's got a delivery time before this. So I found a seller and they're in New York and they're in Brooklyn. And I said, okay, I'm going to order from them and see if I can get them quickly. And it said estimated delivery date, which, you know, that's not always right, but it said December 3rd, which, no, it said the 7th. Wait, today's the 8th. Yeah, today's the 8th. It said I was going to get them on the 7th, I think. I'm just trying to think. I ordered them on the 2nd and I was going to get them on Tuesday. And I thought, well, that's better because I'm pretty sure this one from Amazon said I wasn't going to get it until like the 10th or the 11th. So that's good that it's arriving today, which is early. They didn't even ship them until like Monday afternoon. And I ordered them on Thursday. So they must have exceeded their handling time because if eBay was telling me I would get it on Tuesday, but they didn't even ship it until Monday, they must have gone beyond their handling time, I'm thinking. I don't know. So I was pretty ticked off because I mean, now I'm like, great, I'm not even going to get those until around the same time because I think they mailed them on Monday and it's not expected to be here until the 13th, which is the following Monday. And it's coming from New York. So I was just trying to get them here. But yeah, it was a lesson that if you're going to go out and start sourcing something, make sure you have the means to ship them. I'm going to look and see what my tracking is on that, if it's moving quicker, because it showed it shipped, but it wasn't really shipped. You know how they say shipped? Yeah, estimated delivery. So they printed their label at 2:40 on the 3rd, but they didn't really ship it until the 6th, which was, yeah, Monday. So it didn't get to, they accepted it in Brooklyn on Monday, but it made it to a New Jersey sorting on Monday also. Nothing since Monday. So it's been a couple days and it's not moving out of Brooklyn or New Jersey, I guess. So, so I wanted to tell you guys about this book. I'm sorry that I broke down earlier. I got this. Oh, that's right. I had this blow dryer out. I was going to show you guys that I literally use. Hold on. I had a sticker I couldn't get off this morning. And I literally use a blow dryer to warm up the label. Some people use like a heat gun. Sometimes those heat guns can get too hot and it can start to scorch your product. So like, for instance, if I had this and there was a label on the back, if I was warming it up, the heat gun can actually burn the paper around it. So I'll use a blow dryer and warm up the label, which warms up the glue and it peels right off. It is remarkable. I say that because my mother, who I don't know if you're still in here, she was great. She was removing some stickers for me on our sourcing trip. And she of course, we didn't have a blow dryer in the car. And she ended up ripping this one item. And the sticker did. So warming it up saves you from ruining products. But I wanted to talk to you. I can't remember what we were talking about. Where I went and grabbed this, and then I got off in another direction. But this is an AM PM reflection journal. So I was showing my daughter this yesterday, and I actually pulled one from my stock to give to her because she's like, "Oh, that would be so great." She's in this like reflecting on stuff stage, and which is great for her. So in this book, so there's like 208 pages, I think. Yeah, 208 pages. I think there's probably one for every day. So it starts off with you wake up, what do you need to do? So this side is all your to-do list for the day. And then on this side is make things happen. So there's 3 priorities, priority 1, 2, and 3. And then it says action steps for those priorities. I know it's kind of hard to see, so I'll just tell you what it says. And then you turn the page, right? So you could kind of use this almost like a planner. But it says reflecting on today about my day. So if you're a journaler, so you would just like write about your day. And then what am I proud of myself for? What do I need to forgive myself for? What did I learn today? What will I remember most about today? Like, so this probably would be really good for me to do with what I'm dealing with right now with sharing my house with people. Look to tomorrow. How do I want to feel tomorrow? So then you just write like about tomorrow. I am excited about, I am nervous about, I want to learn, I am feeling. All right, I'm getting to the part I really wanted to talk to you guys about, which is this. So many times as resellers, we can get so caught up and angry about something that we have no control over or minor control over. So today we were talking about taxes and how they're changing it from $20,000 selling down to $600. So if you do $600 in sales on a platform, you're going to get a 1099 next year. So it starts for 2022. You won't get it for this year's. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't been keeping receipts, you're okay this year. I mean, you still need to file your taxes, but yeah, if you want to keep evading them like you've been, they probably won't know that you've been doing what you're doing. So then they have this page, which I love this page. I might create this page, something very similar, so I don't copyright infringement, into a downloadable digital file on my Etsy store. But so it's a nightly detox ritual. So it says, how are you feeling? And you click off like how you're feeling for that day. And then it says, write down a worry or concern. So you could, write down that, I got this refund, I got this return coming back. I feel like they're going to switch out a product, right? So you can use it in a reselling way. Best case scenario, I get the product back and it's exactly what I want or exactly what I sent them. Worst case scenario, right? They switched out the item. Then what can I do about it? So I like this because it makes you realize if you're worrying. So in my case, right, write down a worry or concern. My in-laws are going to live with me for another month. Best case scenario, they're out next week, right? Or if they do live with me for another month, what's the best case scenario? Well, my father-in-law does the dishes. My mother-in-law is always offering to do my laundry or does it on her own. Um, like I don't know, just come up like you could. There's best cases. There's things that has been good. Um, my husband has somebody that he can do things with all the time, which is great. I mean, if I want to talk, there's always somebody to talk to me, which actually has been good because I like to talk, as you can tell. Worst case scenario, right? They continue to not let me watch my TV shows, which they don't like what I watch anyhow, because I watch shows that they're not going to like. Like, they're not going to want to watch RuPaul's Drag Race, so I know not to watch that when they're around. I go in the other room. That's why I'm so far behind on my shows. So, like, what's the worst case? So it kind of gives you an opportunity to reflect. And I think that's always good because there's times as resellers, there's things we have no control over or very little. So I was started to say about the taxes. So you have no control over getting that 1099. But what you do have control over is deciding, I don't want to be a reseller anymore because I don't want to have to pay any income tax to the federal government or the state government. So I'm going to just stop selling altogether. Or you could say, hey, this is a great starting point for me to get organized. I have been worried about ever somebody finding out I've been reselling and not claiming it on my taxes. January is a great time for me to get organized and to start keeping track of everything and doing things where I can sleep better at night, not being worried about the IRS knocking at my door or sending me a letter or whatever. I don't think they knock at your door unless they've already sent you a letter. They probably won't call you, though, and ask for your social security number and birthday. So then it says 3 ways to relax, 3 ways to start tomorrow off right, and thoughts to unload. So if you're ever having a tough day, like I don't know, I was reading this with her and then it starts all over again. I thought, what a great way to kind of, you don't even, it's not dated, so you don't even have to use them every day. But those days when you're just like, okay, I just got to write about this. And I had asked my daughter, I said, are you, hopefully she doesn't mind me sharing some of these things, but I said, she actually called me to read to me some poems that she had written in high school that came up on her, Facebook kind of shares memories. You can look and see like, oh, this happened 10 years ago. Fortunately, I don't have that since my account was hacked and I lost it a year ago. But she goes, I got to read you some of these poems that I had posted. I don't know how I missed them because they are huge red flags. She was going through a very, very dark time in high school, and I didn't realize it until recently. She's been sharing some of the stuff with me, but she called me to read these poems, and I said, wow, like they were like tough. And I said, are you still like writing poems? Are you journaling? Because I know there's times when she's still having an issue. And I said, are you still putting it down? And she goes, yeah, I write letters to whoever. So let's say she's having an issue with me. She writes a letter to me, but it's a letter she's never going to send. So that's when I said, hey, I got this thing I just picked up that I put in my eBay store. I want to share it with you. So I pulled that out and said, do you do anything like this, like journaling in this regard? And it kind of makes you reflect on that specific thing a little bit more. And I really, really like the idea of, there are times when everything is out of your control and there's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. There's nothing you can do. And I think it's good for you to realize there's nothing. There's a saying. What is that saying? Um, like, God grant me the wisdom to know something. I don't remember what it's called, but there's something like that. Pretty much like, there's things that you just can't change, and you got to realize that it's not up to you. So for instance, there's things that drive me crazy about my husband, right? Like literally putting dirty clothes next to the hamper. So can't you just pick them up and put them right there? Like it's like right there. Um, I have learned over the years, after 30 plus years of marriage, that if he's not picking him up after 30 years, he's not going to pick him up at 31 years. So I have learned to just say, that's it. I just know I got to pick him up. If I can't change his behavior, I've tried for 30 years and I can't do it. It's not going to happen. So at some point you just say, it is what it is. The serenity prayer. Yeah, I don't know what it is though, but whatever that prayer is, I guess I could look it up. Let me look it up. Serenity prayer. Instead of having one of you type it all out, which is really long. Here, somebody's selling one on Amazon. Let me click it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That is it. Exactly. So knowing what you can change and what you can't. And there's a lot of complaints all the time about reselling platforms, the way eBay does things, seller updates, now having to fill out tax forms. On Etsy, people are all worried about the star seller program and what that means or doesn't mean to them. Getting a bad review. I got kicked out of the star seller because I got a 4 out of a 5-star review. Somebody gave me a 4-star review with no review, just hit 4 stars. And because it wasn't a 5-star, I got kicked out of it. So, what? So I think about this and I'm like, well, what can I do? I'm not going to reach out. First, I could reach out to the seller, to the buyer and be like, hey, why'd you leave me a 4-star out of a 5 or whatever? But I'm just like, it is what it is. Like, there's certain things. And when you sell on certain platforms, you got to abide by the platform rules. And if they're going to start doing a 1099 on you, then jump on board or leave. Like, those are your options, right? Those are your options. So know what you can change and what you can't. You can't change that they're going to send you a 1099 next year. So kind of go with it. You can only control how you react to whatever is happening. Exactly, Laura. Laura, I thought you were leaving. I'm glad you're still around, but I thought you were heading out. I thought you were packing for Florida. So I'm so jealous. I put something on a Facebook group. I actually ended up taking the post down. Sometimes I post things and I'm like, why did I even post that? I knew what I was going to get for replies. And somebody said to me, oh, you're just jealous, right? So I was looking at something and somebody's clearly cheating the system. So for those of you who sell on any platform like Mercari and Facebook where you can use their labels, you know there are people on Mercari who use a first class, the lowest level, like a 3-ounce package, first class Mercari label, yet they send something that weighs 1.5 pounds. Right? There are people who do that, and they do it over and over and over again. They just don't get caught, or if they take a chance. I was talking about somebody who is mailing chocolate media mail, an Etsy seller who does that media mail. And it's frustrating as a seller who follows the rules when you see sellers not following the rules, because they have a leg up on you. They have the opportunity to sell their item at a better cost for the buyer, and a buyer is going to go with them, a buyer who doesn't care if somebody's breaking the rules or may not even know somebody's breaking the rules or whatever. They're going to go with that person. And it's not fair. So this person was like, you're jealous of their sales. And I'm like, well, I'm not jealous of their sales. I don't feel jealous. I feel outraged that somebody's cheating and is getting an upper hand in something that just is not following the rules. Like, that annoys the heck out of me. Now, you all know there's times when I have a Facebook and I'm like, oh no, that weighs 1 pound, 1 ounce. And I did the 15-ounce label. I still mail them and I'll take whatever repercussion, but I never, ever, ever do something knowing I'm going to cheat the system. Ever, ever. I am a very black and white person. I don't really like gray area. I like black and white. Like, show me the rules and I will follow them. I don't like to not follow them. I don't feel right if I don't follow them. You knew at the beginning when I started selling on Facebook, I was struggling with when something was like that, and I was canceling sales. And then I learned that canceling is so much worse than taking the chance and mailing it. But people that are deliberately charging a first class less than 7-ounce rate for 3 large canisters, ceramic canisters, that's not right. So, okay. Let me just jump off my stool here, right? So, serenity, to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I need to just let that stuff go because I can't change it. I can't change that seller to make them follow the rules. I can't change Facebook or Mercari to make their sellers follow the rules. What can I do? Take good pictures, price my stuff accordingly, still be competitive. And not only that, but most likely that seller is not paying not paying income taxes either, right? They're probably evading their taxes. Hopefully karma comes back to them someday. Okay, so I am way behind on messages again here. Why am I always like that? My mother-in-law lives with us. I totally understand. My grandmother lived with my parents for quite a while, and I don't know if my mom's still in here, but she was, she would say things from time to time, and I would just be like, because she would always say, oh, we couldn't go places because we always had to bring your grandmother. And I'm like, well, go without her. Why couldn't you just tell? Grandma was more than able to take care of herself for the majority of the time she lived with them. And I would have just said, even with my in-laws, if my husband and I want to go on a cruise next week, I'd be like, we're going on a cruise next week. See ya, right? See ya. You got the house to yourself. We're going on a cruise. They don't have to come with us. I would just go. You've got to make sure you take care of yourself too. So, I mean, I invite my mother-in-law when I go to the casino now because I know she enjoys it. But if I wanted to go by myself, I just wouldn't invite her. I would go. You are blessed to have good in-laws. I cannot say the same about mine. I've been married over 15 years and they have never come to my house. Oh my gosh, Sylvia, I'm sorry for that. I am very grateful for them. My husband and I went through a rough patch in our life back in, well, it was about the 7 years of marriage. How many years have we been married? Okay, I've got to use my calculator. 2021 minus 1989. 30. So I've been married 32 years. And at the 7-year mark, I did not like my husband. We actually went to file for divorce. We sold our house. And when I was looking for buying a condo, so in the state of Vermont, you have to be separated for, I think it's 6 months before you can like finalize your divorce. And during that time, I kept thinking of the future. And every time it was always like, I could always picture my husband. But I said to him and to myself, like, I want to divorce you, but stay married to your parents because I just love his parents. I love his parents, even though they drive me crazy at times. Back then, we were much, much closer. When my kids were born, my mother-in-law would take them my husband was a guardsman, air guardsman, and every time he had drill, they would take him that 1 week in a month, they would take my kids. So I would have the weekend to myself. I would not have my husband and I would not have my kids. And I was a full-time working mom at the time. And I loved it. And then when I became a stay-at-home mom, they continued to do it. And I loved it because it gave me a break and I needed that time. Unfortunately, once my niece was born, my kids were like 6 and 7, 6 and 8. They're 2 years apart. My niece became priority, and I have grown further distance from my in-laws since that time. And my niece just turned 18. So it's been 18 years of lots of resentment over the way they treated my niece versus my kids. You can only control how you react to whatever is happening. Yes, I think I already read that, didn't I? I understand what you're talking about very well. Cancer was my trigger. I learned a lot about not having control. Exactly, Claudia, right? Because being diagnosed with something like that, I'm sure you're at the point where you're just like, I can do what the doctors say. I can, sometimes even being proactive in learning and researching stuff. I've seen Sue from, well, she's on the Bearded Pickers channel every now and then, but Sue, she went the whole like holistic approach and really changed her diet and stuff like that. So there's some things you got control of, but right overall, you don't have a lot of control over what happens when it comes to cancer or any ailment. I completely understand how you feel, Tamara. It will be hard, but you'll be okay. Yeah, I know. It'll be fine. And I hate when I complain because I am very thankful for some of the stuff they've done for us. Florida is next week. I need to finish up Christmas shopping today. I'm waiting for it to warm up. Warm up? What's the temperature down there? I don't even know what it's cold here because the snowing. Hey Siri, what's the temperature outdoors?
It's 25 degrees outside.
I guess I really had to think, huh? 25 out. Oh, you telling me you have to pay tax? Oh, no, you don't have to pay any taxes. No, not at all. But if you could send me your social security number, please, or your EIN, that would be great, Paul. Hey, good morning and welcome. Holly, I give myself a short amount of time to get frustrated, then I continue. Overthinking can get out of hand. Yeah, sometimes you can be your own worst enemy. Is that what they say? And that's definitely the way I can be at times, right? So I took Saturday. I already woke up Saturday in just not a good mood. I was tired. Gosh, I think I slept till like 9 in the morning. I just didn't feel right mentally, physically, like all over. It just didn't feel right. And I was actually worried I might be coming down with something. So for that to happen, which I was so happy to have a day to myself with nobody around where I could just relax on the couch. So for that to happen, I wasn't in a good mental place anyhow. So yeah, just was not good timing. In the end, it's yourself that you have to deal with when you do things underhandedly. Yes. I think karma comes back and bites you in the butt at times, which at least that's what I hope. I keep putting a lot of faith in karma for people who aren't doing things in my black and white world. Agree with you, Holly. I get mad or sad for a small period of time and then I move on. Yeah, that's usually the way I am. For some things, man, I do let some things really, really nag at me. Like if I have something really big in life, like have any of you ever had, like, let's say you have an argument with a friend. So when I was just dating my husband, so probably like 1987, I had a friend I hung around with all the time. And my husband and I and my friend, where I was borrowing my parents' car because I owned my own car at that time. I was in college and dating my husband. We went to his cousin's house and we were drinking. And my friend wanted to leave. And I said, well, we're not leaving yet, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. And she grabbed the car keys from the coffee table and went out and got in my parents' car and drove away with my parents' car. We had been drinking. None of us should have been driving, right? We weren't leaving. We had all been drunk. We were drunk. And she crashed it right within the parking lot of it was like a apartment building complex or something. And she crashed the car. And so I had to bring her to court. She was underage. She had to go to some diversion. I don't know, it was a mess. But for the longest time, I would dream of her in my dreams, that we got back to being friends, and because I really miss not being friends with her. But it was hard to be friends again after what she did and put my family through. And I would have dreams about that. And those are the types of things. Like I don't dream about her anymore. But now that I mentioned it to her about her, I bet you the next week she'll be in one of my dreams. Um, that happens. Does that happen to anybody else? Like something will happen in life and you try and get rid of it, but you'll like out of the blue, right? It could be a year later and out of the blue, you just have this dream with whatever that scenario kind of comes back. Most of the time it's a person. They'll come back into my dream. Like I shared with you guys on Monday that I had gotten fired from a job, and I was sharing how when you get accused of something and 100% you did not do whatever it was. And that's what this case was. It nagged at me for the longest time to figure out what really happened, what was the real reason that I had gotten fired. And I constantly thought about that for years. And I would dream that I would run into this. At the time, he was a major in the military because I worked for the military at the time. And I ran into him and I was just like, please tell me why this really happened. And something would happen in my dream and he would tell me or whatever, or he would start to tell me and something would happen, wake me up, or I don't know. But I constantly would have that nagging at me for the longest time. So when something major happens to you that really shakes your world, those things are really hard to move from. They pop up. I may not even be thinking about it, and it'll pop up in my dream. How did you get married on 1989 when you were born in 1988? I know. How? I mean, a child bride, I guess. My parents sold me off at 1 years old. Uh, you told that story once. I was impressed by how mature and loving you two were. Oh, I don't remember what story that was. maybe about me almost getting a divorce. I shared that with my daughter this past year. She didn't know that my husband and I had almost divorced. I didn't realize that I had never shared that story with her, or maybe I shared it and she just never, just wasn't that important to her at the time for her to remember. But yeah, that's weird. But yeah, I'm very, very thankful. Their marriages work. I mean, here we are 32 years, and at 7 years we could have called it quits. But we both realized he was going and looking at condos with me. And like, how many people bring their soon to be ex-husband with them to look at condos? And that's when I just realized that, listen, I still love you, I just don't like you, so we got to change it so I start to like you again. So let's figure out what's going on. That was around the time when I was able to quit my job. I hated my job, and I was able to stay home and raise the kids, and it really made a huge difference in our marriage. It was all about making mama happy. That was me. It's actually 42 outside and sunny. What? It's 42 though. That's cold. That's cold for you way down there south. It was a traumatic experience, and we carry those traumas with us, even if for some people that wasn't a big thing. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's funny. I ran into that friend back when I lived in Vermont. I went to the grocery store, and it ends up being she was like manager of the produce department or something. And I ran into her and I just said hi and just kept shopping. Like, I didn't stop and talk to her. I haven't been friends with her since then. And we had only really been friends that summer. Like, hadn't been long time friends. Like, I'm kind of arguing with one of my longtime friends right now. Unfortunately for political reasons. And I mean, I still text her on her birthday and she texts me, and a song will come on the radio, and I'll say, "Hey, I just listened to the Gap Band, and you dropped a bomb on me, and I was thinking of you in our roller skating days." And yeah, so we kind of still do that, but we haven't had any like phone conversations in, gosh, probably, well, at least a year, at least a year. But it's probably been longer than that. I say political, but it was kind of coming on before then. It's hard when you're a kid and you have a lot in common, but as you get older, you kind of drift away from a lot of the commonality. And that's kind of where we're at. I still love her and care for her, but we just don't have a lot in common anymore. It's hard to have conversations that, like an hour conversation. Maybe I'll call her today. I should do that, shouldn't I? I should call her today. It's been a long time. She was my maid of honor in my wedding. I definitely need to reach out because I was the one who broke the friendship. Um, yes, the near divorce experience and the way you two decide to get back together. So mature. Yeah. I mean, first of all, we had kids, and it's just right for the kids. We never really, I feel like we never argued. I mean, we would argue. I take that back, but we never really argued in front of the kids. I'd be curious to wonder if they ever felt like their dad and I argued, because we always tried to keep it like away from them, so they wouldn't really hear. They knew we had disagreements because we always had family meetings, and we would share like family stuff. So they would hear that I disagree with dad's opinion, but we would kind of get their opinion, but ultimately we would make the decision. But we would always have these family meetings when they were, I would say, probably like 12, 10 and 12. We started that when they were just a little bit older. We started having more and more of those like family meetings. We actually went to some parenting class, and we took this class, and then the kids would go to like this kids portion of it. It was weird. It was through the church. Well, I should say it was at the church, but the church wasn't putting it on. I think that like the community center was. Most of the people in the class were court ordered to go to this class. So we were one of the very few people who voluntarily signed up for this parenting class. But I definitely feel like if you're going to be a parent, we're not even talking reselling, are we? If you're going to be a parent, it doesn't come with an instruction manual. I mean, you could buy that Dr. whatever, his book or whatever. I was going to say Dr. Oz, but speaking of Dr. Oz, did you see that he's running for, I think, like the congressman of some sort in Pennsylvania, either senator or representative, one or the other, for Pennsylvania? I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, taking a class like that is really good. And I strongly uh, support even like marriage counseling or premarital counseling or stuff like that, just to kind of help you out. I was talking to somebody the other day. Oh, my mom. I said, because my mom had 4 kids, my mom and dad. And I said, when you guys got married, how many kids did you want to have? And she goes, well, we never talked about it. And I thought, isn't that weird? Of course, back then you didn't talk about stuff, right? In the 60s. But today, before you get married, you really should talk about whether or not you want to have kids. And then how many kids do you want? Because you don't want to be like, I don't want any kids, or I'll have one. And then your husband is thinking, well, geez, I want a big family. I want like 6 or 7. I grew up with 8 siblings. I want to have that many. Yeah, that might not work out so well. That'd be tough, especially if you want no kids and they want a lot of kids. That's a subject you got to bring up before you get married. Definitely call your friends, says Sylvia. I have stopped contacting my childhood friends except through Facebook. It's time to start calling again. Absolutely. So I will tell you guys, I do talk to her, but it's in a group chat. If I hope you all are lucky enough to have friends like I have. All right, so I don't know if you can see at the top of this. Can you see all those dots? 14 of them? Oh, it's really blurry. Come on. Well, it says 14 people. Those are my high school friends, plus some of their not their siblings, their spouses. I have the best high school friends, and we all keep in touch. We used to be on a Facebook group, but somebody brought us all into this chat, and now we do chat. I just turn off notifications because, oh my gosh, they're chatting every day, constantly throughout the day, right? Somebody shared their Christmas tree that they just put up, and everybody's like, oh, beautiful, loved an image, lovely. One of them has COVID, is recovering from COVID right now, so we got talks about that. Somebody shared their nails. But it's really good. I am so happy. Like somebody just put, this is what they put this weekend, my friend Brianna. One of the biggest lies ever told is blood makes you family. No blood makes you related. Loyalty, love, and trust makes you family. So she was just talking about how we're a family. We actually rented a house one time, like an Airbnb, and we all got together for a week. Some people couldn't be there for the whole week, but some could. But we had people that came from all over. The one who has COVID right now lives in Colorado. We've got some in Maryland, got California. Actually, I have another one that's in Colorado. And I think that's it. Yeah, because the one that was in Connecticut just moved back to Vermont. Everyone else, I think, lives in Vermont except for me here in New York. In the ones I just mentioned. But yeah, so fortunate to have childhood friends. We call ourselves the gang. We actually, one of them he's the camp director. Huge heart. He used to be the dean of students at the University of Vermont, quit a very high paying job to become the head director of a camp for kids with cancer. And we all just chipped in to buy a bench because they're doing like fundraising, and they're selling benches that you can put like in honor of, or in memory of, or whatever. What's that word? The long memoriam. I can't say the word. But so we all just chipped in. I think it was $50, and we just all bought one of these benches. So it's been great. I mean, and the fact that you can reach out to everyone's in these different lines of work. So when I was buying the RV, we were dealing with possibly buying an RV that had we had to wait to get the title. So we had to pay them. They had to take the money, pay off their loan to get the title, to give the title to us for us to be able to register our vehicle. And I was like, I don't like this. I said, I'm going to reach out to my friend Todd, who owns a dealership, or used to own a dealership in Vermont. And then he's a general manager of a dealer now, because he owned a Saturn dealer. And unfortunately, as some of you know, Saturn went out of business in 2008. And so he left that because he had to sell it. And he became the general manager of a Toyota or Ford. He was Toyota, and I think he ended up going to Ford. Well, whatever. I was able to reach out to him and say, hey, what do you do? How do you do this? When it comes to cars, if you're buying a vehicle from somebody who's got a loan and you got to pay off that loan and then get it, like, how do you do it? So it was great because he was able to provide me with the forms that the DMV has that actually covers you in that instance, which we ended up not buying that RV. But it was nice to have somebody that you can reach out to. So building that network of friends, and I say it all the time with reselling, building that network with reselling of friends. Charlie Brown's not in here, and I was hoping he would pop in today since Scott's not on, because I still want to give him crap. Charlie, if you watch this replay, leave a comment so I know you're hearing me. He had a bolo on some bubble mailers. I think we talked about it on Monday, and some of you said you actually knew about it. Man, I want to know about these good deals if you find supplies. I know last year there were labels for your like Dymo and stuff that were on Amazon that got marked down really low and people were able to score them. Like, I want to know about those things. So building that network. And that's what I was hoping that Discord group that I run would be for some of you and for myself, is the ability for you to be able to go on to this group. And if you hear about those good bolos, post them. I post those bolos when I hear about them. I also post, reselling bolos, things that you can buy and flip, that type of stuff. So that group is good for that. So if you're not in the Discord group, the description is down in the description. There is a link to that. You two were able to set your personal pride aside and set a new priority. Not easy for most people. Yeah, it is. I'll tell you, marriage is tough. Marriage is tough, but I'm extremely thankful we made it through it. Thankful we're able to keep our family intact. Thankful I have my husband by my side now, and that we both grew and matured. And the thing is, you got to both grow and mature at the same time. It's very difficult if one is growing and maturing and the other one is still staying in a teenager brain and wanting to stay at that lifestyle. So, you kind of both have to do it together. And, I'm thankful he was willing to work on it just as much as I was willing to work on it. So yeah, it takes two people. That's for sure. That's for sure. Congratulations to my brother and his wife. They just paid off their house. They're doing the whole Dave Ramsey thing, and they are currently debt-free. They have no debt. Isn't that amazing? I said I tried to do that one time in the past, but unfortunately, you can't just be one of a couple that wants to be debt-free. If you have somebody else in your couple who likes to spend money, it's very difficult to be debt-free. And that's the way it was for us. But yeah. All right, let's see. It's 10:20, so I think I'm going to let you guys go. Somebody's going to want to come on and talk about taxes, watch this video and think, oh my gosh, it's 2.5 hours long. I don't want to watch a 2.5 hour long video on taxes when I was only going to be an hour long today. So I'm going to let you guys go. I've got those Amazon orders to package, which I guess there's only 3 of them, so that won't take much. But I think I'm going to call my friend today and talk to her and see how life is going for her. And it's good. It's the holidays. It's a good time. Good time to chat with somebody. So I challenge you, if there's somebody you haven't called in a while, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, a good friend, it's time to reach out. This is the time of year that it's good to do that type of stuff anyhow. So go ahead and make that call today, or text message or email. Phone calls are always so much better. And take that step. All right. Thank you guys for stopping in. I appreciate it as always. I do. Hey, hit that thumbs up on your way out. I appreciate that too. Right? I never really seem to get very many, but I don't ask it. And sometimes it takes somebody asking to give a thumbs up for me to remember to go give a thumbs up. So do that for me, and I would appreciate that. All right. I'll see you guys on Monday, which is the 13th. Yeah, I'll be around. I'll see you guys on Monday. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.